I did not do that to your wife. I don't care what you say.
That's it on camera.
I'm denying it.
Not editing it.
Oh, sorry.
So we're at,
see what I got to put up with.
we've got these two great guys here. We're at Draftfcb on Eglinton in Toronto. And guys, thanks so much for joining me. I'm with Chris Taciuk and Joe Piccolo. And your positions, gentlemen, are?
I'm VP Group Creative Director here at Draft.
Vice President Creative Director, Draftfcb.
Right.
In May 261398.
And by the way, for people who don't know me, which is probably all of you, don't worry, bird flu isn't making a comeback. This is my real voice, not augmented. What are you going to do?
we don't apply any audio filters either, so everyone will get the real message. So gentlemen, let's first talk about Draft a little bit. In the background, you can see the 6.5 seconds, which is the company motto, and it's a big part of your culture here. So
yes, it is.
Just go through that.
6.5 seconds is simple. That's about as much time as you have to capture someone's mind, their attention. If you can't explain why you're relevant to them in under 6.5 seconds, it's not good enough.
Right, and that is, of course, in every medium.
Every medium.
Because a lot of people would look at it.
In life, yeah.
True, right. So a lot of people would look at it, well, you know, what are they talking, billboards at home? But we're talking everything, every message that you guys are communicating.
Even in that question, I'd answer it in 6.5. Imagine if I took 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. A lot of every company has its shtick, and you know, make no mistake, this is one as well. How do we, you know, what do we sell to our clients? To, you know, what's our sort of motto and our philosophy? But this one, it's great to have one that you actually truly believe in and live by. Chris and I use it in our everyday vernacular all the time. If he just, you know, he tells me, oh, you're not going to believe what happened last night. Not talking about ads at all. I'll just go, give me the 6.5. And it's, you know, my son threw up all over the thing, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, okay, got it, done. Now, if we want to have time to get into the whole story, we can get into it. But I get what it was about and the essence of it. So it's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, that's cool. So, Chris, prior to this, we talked about how can we engage our audience and what are we going to talk about, because it starts to be the same old, where everyone's talking about, well, this is how you get in the industry, and this is what, actually, before I get too far, I was asked a question by a student the other day. I have to ask this. He wants to know, what do you wear when they're coming to meet with a creative director on the creative side, so he could be an art director? What do you wear? And I said, well, what are we doing? Are we going to a portfolio night, or are we going for an interview? So let's put that out there first.
I like people to come in with a sombrero, a turtleneck, and cowboy boots.
What about a white shirt with a black dickie underneath?
That would be good too. You know what?
Deodorant.
Deodorant. Nice.
Number one.
You know what? For me, I always wanted to be myself, so I wore what I was comfortable in. And if someplace was a very corporate culture and everybody's wearing shirts and ties, and that's not me, I wouldn't even want to interview there. So I'd go with what I was comfortable in and made sure my culture fit their culture.
Right.
And I showed up in hooded sweatshirts sometimes, you know.
Yeah, and obviously the best way to find out about a company's culture. The best way to find out about a company's culture is to watch our videos and get out there and interview people themselves. I mean, there's, you know, what's to say that there's a barrier and they can't come and talk to you guys, right? So,
exactly.
Okay, so we were discussing the massive changes going on in the not only advertising industry, but you know, music and movies and our entire culture around us. So how is that affecting what's changing in the advertising industry?
The enchilada.
The enchilada. This I can't answer in 6.5. No, everything's changing so fast, and no one knows what the right answer is of what's happening. Like when music blew up, where you know you had to go into a store to buy it. That's where you got it, and then all of a sudden, boom! You could download it from all over on the internet and save it places and carry it with you. And then journalism started to change. Of you don't have to read a newspaper. You can grab news from all over the world.
You're the journalist.
Yeah,
that's the most radical of them all. I mean,
so for us, it used to. There was a model for 25 years where, you know, you had a chunk of money. If you could spend a ton, you'd put it into TV, outdoor, radio, direct mail, and that was the plan. And people serviced that. And now there's been an explosion of all these new channels that with digital. And it's, you know what, there isn't that model set up to fit it. So everybody has to be creative now to figure out where to put it. And maybe one day that'll all come back together, but for right now, it's just sort of fragmented.
So when you're saying that everyone needs to be creative, are you talking the clients, the agency, the people working within the agencies, or what do you mean by that exactly?
Yes. would be the answer to that. I think things are moving so fast. I think the best case scenario where you have the most people that are most engaged in the most things that are going on, that understand the value that all these new outlets have, it's much simpler. To try and explain Twitter to a client that doesn't understand the value of it, you're stuck in mud. So I think when everybody understands it, things can happen much faster.
Mm-hmm. And how are clients becoming educated on the benefits to Twitter? I mean, obviously, we had this conversation earlier today, was, if you're in a smaller community where the advertiser isn't engaging with Twitter and their audience isn't really using Twitter, what's the sense, right? But how do you educate these clients?
I think it happens naturally over time. I think everyone's afraid to be first. Why should I spend money here if I'm not going to see results? I think cases happening where they show results with a good return on investment, that's where they start to believe in it. For me, the one for me that really got me all over Twitter, from taking me to, it's someone just talking about having a bagel for breakfast, to here's how it can change a business, was the Twitter 12 Force, where Best Buy and Crispin came up with this idea of, you know what, people are going into stores to shop around for TVs, and we're losing customers because they're getting good advice at another store. So you know what if we get people before they leave their home, they can type in a question to the Twitter 12 Force, get an answer back. You know, the person can say, yeah, plasma is better than LCD for a basement for these reasons, and we have a sale on, 20% off, come on in. You've got them. That starts to get press, that starts to win awards. I think it permeates out to clients and agencies, and you start to understand the value of it and apply it to your business and your agency.
Right. And let's look at the students. So the students coming into the industry, do you find that some of them are more knowledgeable when it comes to the social media than the agencies they're entering and how to execute that? Or
if they are, they're certainly not, and I hope I can speak for both of us, they're certainly not using it to break through in terms of contacting us or trying to get interviews with us. We're shocked at just, what the students are doing is they'll send an email, somehow they'll get our email, and they'll send an email saying, can we, blah, 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 can I show you my book? And I'm telling you students now, I'm telling you this, I know I do this, and the majority of, we are busy beyond belief, and you've got to do more than that to break through. I mean, and more importantly, on a more even philosophical level, if you can't sell yourself and break through, how are you going to break through any products that we're asking you to sell or any merchandise?
That's
so it's almost like your sample is yourself of how am I going to break through? How am I going to get noticed and get this interview with this person? And back to your question, if they do have this use of social media, I'm certainly not seeing it in the way they're approaching us, and obviously. So therefore, I don't get to see it because we're not hiring them, really. We're not seeing it. So
I think there's been one great example of that kid that bought the Google AdWords of creative directors' names.
And the Boguski Twitter thing, too.
Yeah, the Boguski Twitter thing would be another great example. Just to extrapolate on Joe's point about we're busy, just the reality of it. I have a Draftfcb email account. I'll get 147 emails a day regarding to all the jobs that are going on, the productions we're doing, the setting up interviews like this. I've got my personal Gmail account that's flooded with family and friends. I'm getting my Facebook messages. Porn. My Natasha, my wife, he never said that. Text messages. It's funny with Tom that he sent me a name of someone to look at their book. And I had to message him back later because I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't remember. Was that my LinkedIn, my Facebook, my Twitter, my Draft, my Gmail? Where was that link?
Yeah.
And it's just, we're bombarded and flooded with information left, right, and center. So, stuff I want to remember. I mean, Joe laughs at me all the time. I can't even remember stuff I want to remember because we're so bombarded with information.
So it really does pour back into, you need to build that unique brand for yourself. Because, one of the things that we keep trying to do with AdBuzz is to, educate the students and the juniors, like, you need to get noticed. You're graduating, one class could have 50. And then you multiply that by how many students or schools there are in Ontario, times Canada, and now we're in a global market. So then you've got people competing globally for spots.
Totally.
So what are you actually doing to stand out? Your book could be the same as someone else's, but if you don't have a personal brand, what good is it doing, right?
You got it.
So how are they going to build a personal brand, and what is most important about that brand to you guys?
Well, for me, you know, the three magic words when I was a student, simple, memorable, and relevant, they apply just as much now, and you have 100,000 other places to apply that, and I'm not really seeing that. I think, you know, keep it simple. You know, students, what's your message you're trying to get across? You know, do you think you've got a better book than anybody else in the country or the world, and I should see it? Tell me that if you honestly feel that, because if it's just, here's my book, I'm getting 25,000 others of those. I'm hitting delete. I'm not looking because it, you know, I hope you don't look at creatives in this business as arrogant for saying this, but that's junk mail to us. We literally do not have the time to look at every book from Mohawk, from Seneca, from Humber. I get them from India. I get them from the United States. I have friends around the industry saying, look, and if I'm looking at every book, I can't do my job. I can't make it home to my family. So what makes you relevant? And I think relevance another big one. I was just mentioning to a guy the other day who had a great book, and he's just sending it off like a resume blankly to different agencies. And it's like, you can't do that. I think if there's a truth about you, if you're the biggest car buff on the planet, you pull the wheel section out of every Toronto Star growing up and save them, you got arrested at 15 years old for stealing a car, you can tear an engine apart and put it back together, and you want to work on cars, let the people know that you're passionate about cars. I mean, they've got to put you in front of clients and have you speak about the value of this steering system, this accident avoidance system, and you know it. You know, it's not just the creative. You understand the product and the brand. And I don't see people speaking to their relevance of why they apply to that agency or that brand or those creative directors.
Right, right. And it's got to be more than just, I have a blog, check it out, right? Because
what do you do?
We're finding that, you know, I'm so tired of seeing blogs.
I hate the word blog, by the way.
I know.
Can I just go on record, by the way?
Do it.
If I'm deceased tomorrow, I can go on record somewhere on camera saying I just hate the word blog. I've always hated the word blog. There's some good blogs, I know, but I've always hated the word blog. Blog. I know. It just doesn't.
Yeah, I find that a lot of the students, and it's not.
I know that's not your point, but
it's true though. No, it is my point. Is that a lot of students think that building a brand is starting a blog, and that's really not what it is.
Can I jump in on the brand? Because Chris is touching on it. A brand in anything is at the essence of what you or it is. That is. So if, like you were saying, this car buff person, that's the brand. That would be that person's brand. That person is a car buff and loves cars, and they're insane about it. Tiger Woods is a golfer. He was born a golfer. That's his brand. The guy was doing, you know, he's got a new brand now. That's a whole other thing. But
a little negative branding.
Yeah, a little negative branding. But you know, I mean, brand is about, what is it? What, when you say keep it simple, Chris, keep it
simple, memorable, and relevant.
You know, passion. Passion is my brand. I am a passionate, whatever I do it like full balls to the walls, all the way kind of thing. That's a brand, you know, and let people know that you can use that in a job, and people love to know that you're hungry and you want to be you want to leave Alex Bogusky in the dust in this business, and that's great. People love that. That can be your brand. That's, you know, brand is at the essence of what you're about. Apple is one of the greatest brands. They're about just simplicity and making your life more enjoyable. I mean, that's just at the heart of what they do. From the moment you open the package to using it, it's simple, it's fun, and it just enriches your life. That's their brand, and it infuses it into everything they do, right from the pamphlet all the way up to their stores, everywhere.
So how did your brand get you your first job? What did you do?
My brand, my passion. That's a great question, because it's a perfect example. I actually didn't go to ad schools, didn't take advertising. I was a failure as an artist, quote unquote, painting. Trying to. It wasn't as much that as I knew that whole gig of becoming famous as an artist, and you know, was sort of the going the way of the dodo. So I decided I needed to do something else, because that's what I was doing. I was working as a computer studio person to sort of pay for that. And I decided, you know what? I think the more modern sort of way of being an artist is advertising. The sort of the Dan Wydens, the Just Do It ads. To me, those are sort of the Warhols of the modern day. This is what I was saying to myself. So I'm like, you know what? I've decided to do that. I'm going to do that. And my passion for it, I didn't go to school, didn't ask someone how I could do it. I just literally fell asleep with one shows and CAs on my chest every night, like literally just going through them, trying to learn what made an ad great, what made this good. And I just kept working at my book, you know, sending out interesting mailers to CDs, and I broke in literally out of scratch, just because I was passionate about that's what I wanted to do, and I did it.
Mm-hmm. Chris, how did you break in?
When I went to Seneca College, and when I was there, it was a 2-year program at the time. 1 year in, I started making interviews with as many creative directors, art directors, writers as I could to talk to them about how they got in. And I found out that everybody had a different answer. I wanted to figure out what was the magic way to get in, and I found out that there wasn't a magic way. It seemed that, you know, everybody had their own experiences that led to their success. Some people, their mom knew someone at the agency, so they got an internship. Someone else went, and I'm like, well, I don't have that luxury. Someone else worked in the mailroom and busted their ass and worked on stuff that they weren't even asked to work on. And I didn't want to start in the mailroom. So I talked to enough people and showed my passion, my inquisitive nature, and always showed work. And I think people started to see that I really believed in what I was doing, cared about what I was doing. And I kept in touch with people. And I think a lot of kids coming out today, they show their stuff and they disappear. They don't advertise themselves. So my brand was...
exactly. Great point.
You need to see the product on the shelf. Yeah. And so I thought, if I'm a product on a shelf and they're not coming into my store, I've got to get myself to them. So when internship time came about, we defined that ourselves. I had a few options that people were eager to bring me in to work with them. So I had my choice of 3 places, and I picked one of them. So that was how I got in.
Nice.
And by the way, let's be clear about something. When we say don't come back and don't give up, that doesn't mean being annoying. There's a really fine balance between being smart and how you do it and being engaging and not just sort of a pest of sending emails going, hey, can I see you again? Can I see you? That's not clever, and that's not smart, and it's
That's one of my biggest frustrations is people, they look at it, what's in it for them or what they need. I need a job. I need to fulfill this for graduation. I need money so I can buy a place or rent a place. That does not, coincide with what we need. We need, we need someone that can, work on account X, Y, and Z, that has this experience, that's willing to roll up their sleeves and, work like crazy and not just deliver, but over-deliver. So, I need a job, big deal. That's not what we need. There's lots of people that need a job. We need someone that does this.
That's a great point. A great example of that would be, could you imagine this happening, Chris? It's never happened to us, but imagine someone coming in and saying, you know what? You know that account that you have? I know it's got to be sort of there's got to be a lot of, drudgery on it, a lot of tough work on it. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to not complain about it. I'm willing to, to roll up my sleeves and get that done until I can prove that would blow our minds.
I've never heard that once.
I've never heard it once either. And like Chris just said, it's a great point. It would be, hey, what can I do for you? So it's a good.
Speaking from what you want, could you imagine like if a brand that you love did a billboard that said, buy our product, we need to make Q4 expectations? Like, you wouldn't buy that. You buy it because what it offers you, not what they need you to do.
Well, they say the best results to any quest is to always offer assistance in some way too. So always put yourself out there first and then allow the person to reciprocate. Right. So anyways, guys, I think that you've given a lot of great advice. Is there anything else that you'd like to offer up before we conclude?
I just want to say that I think what you guys are doing is fantastic, and helping them out a lot, and keep it up. It's great.
Thanks so much. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I want to reiterate that as well. Thank you for giving the students a chance to learn different perspectives from all over, giving us a chance to sort of showcase ourselves and what we know that's unique from the other people that have done this. And you know what, to everyone watching this, there's something special inside of all of you, and you might not fit the courses you're in, the classroom you're in, but follow your gut, listen to your gut, and go with it. If you keep persisting, you're going to find a way to land in that special place that you want to be.
Awesome.
And I like hot dogs and hamburgers if you want to bring by lunch too. Oh, and follow AdBuzz on Twitter, by the way. It's actually quite awesome. I seriously, it's a good thing to do.
It's a good idea. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your time.